Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the Verified AMA. I'm your host, Lawton Ho, here with Verified Investing. And I go live every single day that the markets are open from 12:30 to 1:15 to answer your questions. And it's Friday. It is indeed Friday. So, how's everybody doing today? I hope you guys had a good day so far. My friends play in a band, and I went to go watch them play last night. And they told me that they're going on around 10 or 10:30. So I got there at 10:30, 10:20, I think. Got there at 10:20, and I was waiting for them to perform. And I was like, yo, I'm going to be so tired. But it's fine. It's fine. And then they're just it goes from 10:20 to 10:30. Still not playing. 10:30 to 10:45, and they're having drinks with me and at the bar. And I'm like, guys, I gotta go to sleep. You told me your set was 30 minutes, so I was expecting to come get out of here at 10:50, and I'm not even kidding you. They didn't go on till like 11:10, and by the time they finished, it was like midnight. It was insane. And they played in like a punk rock kind of emo band. And my friend, he's the lead singer of the band. He brought his 93-year-old grandma out, and it was so loud and it was so funny. She was in a wheelchair, and there were people like mosh pitting, and they put his grandma right in the front row, and they just left her there, and they stepped back. And it was one of the most insane things I've ever seen. But it was fun. It was definitely fun. But with that being said, while you're here, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider liking it and subscribing to this. Yeah, I would really, really appreciate it, guys. Mean the world to me. So the way this works, sorry guys, I'm getting into the swing of things. It's a Friday. Can you blame me? You can ask me questions by either scanning this QR code down below, scan that QR code for me, or visit verifiedinvesting.com, open up that watch and ask little symbol, and throw your questions in there for me, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay? So with that being said, what do you guys have for me today? Dean, refresh it. It should be working. You can refresh that, Dean, that page, and it should have been updated. But anyways, let's go back to let's go back to the beginning of the questions. Marcus says UNH seems to like a bull flag this week. Is this bull flag valid, or is there a topping tail from a week and a half ago? Let's take a look. Okay, UNH moved up and it's trying to sideways. It is, I would say it's a valid bull flag. This is not a topping tail. This is not a topping tail, because topping tails, it has to be whatever you're talking about. It has to be the highest point in the last 90 bars. So no, not a topping tail. Oh man, excuse me, guys. God, I always start yawning around this time. Don't know why. Maybe I'm just tired. But I have this down sloping trend line. We're trying to break up and out of. This is bullish. I'm bullish on UNH. Warren Buffett is bullish on UNH. And listen, I think I'm a pretty smart guy. But I don't think I'm smarter than Warren Buffett. So if he's in, I'm in. And my average is somewhere down here, I think. But I'm in right now. Long. Jessica says, hey, Lon, what's up, Jessica? How are you loving the stock's performance today? Yeah, it's honestly great to see. On SOXS, nice that it's had a nice move up. I want to see it close above 7. I definitely think it goes over 9, but I'd be happy to see it close above 7 today. Right? It's just a matter of time. I mean, it's mostly because I think it was Alibaba said was it Alibaba or Bilibili or one of these Chinese companies said that they had a tech chip that would rival Nvidia's or something. That's why Nvidia is also coming down off of weaker earnings. But look at this. What did I say? Alibaba's playing in this beautiful wedge, and it's popping today. Popping, absolutely popping today. If it retraces to this wedge, I'm a buyer. 100% count me in. I'm buying. Nathan says, good morning, Lon. What's up, Nathan? Natural nat gas. Breakout or back down to support. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at this trend line. Look at this. It's trying to break. It's attempting to break. I need it to close above, and then I need another one. I need it to confirm. So this is not confirmed yet. We're still knocking on the upper end of this downsloping trend line, but favors a move higher. Absolutely. As Benjamin Poole just came into the lab day, came into my room and is now undressing. Why are you doing? Didn't you like take your shirt and go change somewhere else? Like he's literally not wearing clothes. I would show you right now, but I'd mess up the camera. Dude, you're so distracting. Get out of here. You want to come say hi?
Yeah.
All right. He doesn't want to say hi. All right. See you later. That's so distracting. But yeah, I think this pushes higher. Omar says, hi, Lon. Just wanted your view on strategy. And what do you see for the short-term price? And is there a specific price you're looking to answer? When you say strategy, I'm assuming you're saying micro strategies, right? MSTR. Yeah, MSTR is strategy. Did they change it to micro strategy? To strategy? Anyways, for me, my next level to potentially enter is this gap fill down here around 317. Approximately 6% lower. I'd consider there entering a position there. Enter here and then consider like potentially adding here, but that's kind of big, 25% lower. MSTR moves with the price of Bitcoin, and as we know, Bitcoin's coming down today. Ethereum, I was bearish on Ethereum. Look at this. I was saying I was bearish on Ethereum. I said it favored a downside move. I said it. I said, look at this head and shoulders pattern. Not a head and shoulders pattern, just an upsloping trend line and a break. I said it. But if you're watching, you already knew that. It just feels good to be right every once in a while. I'm not always right, and I'm wrong a lot of the times, but this is one of the times I'm right. Elvis says, hi, Lon. What's up, Elvis? What are your thoughts on a short on Light? This Momentum Holdings. Yeah, wow, this thing is overextended to say the least. I don't know much about this company, so I don't have a lot. I can say that this is like a level of resistance I have, but that's 27% higher. Let me see if I have anything closer. I have something like there. Not good enough. All right, I like this level too for a short. Somewhere around 143 for a short. Around 143 for a short. That's where I'd short this. Dean says Tesla pullback has negated recent breakout. My average is 345. Yeah, so you saw this. I want buy the breakout, or you buy the retrace. It retraced but continued to fall. Why is it falling though? Not sure. My next buying level of this is probably down here around 314. I consider buying. And again, at the bottom of this upsloping trend line, I think there's going to be a lot of support, somewhere around 313, 314. That's my next level. If you're at 345, you're out of the money 3%. That's not much. To be honest, I would just add down here around 314. Wes says, happy Friday. Lawton, what's up? Wes, can you give your thoughts on CNC? Sure. After it dropped so much, do you think there's more upside? It's coming into a resistance trend line, Drew, and looking for your valued opinion. Thanks so much for your question, Wes. Let's take a look at that chart you sent me. So I had this kind of wedge. I had this level of support, this 25.28. That's where I was going to be a buyer. Well, how did I get that level? I have it from the pivot low. This was a gap fill all the way from 2016. Yeah, I see that. I see that trend line. I like that trend line a lot, but it's down sloping, so that means it's bullish. So if you can break above that trend line, favors a move higher. Also, it has pretty much the same trend line going on right here. It's basically just an extension of this trend line. But yeah, if you can break above here, this looks bullish. This looks up move, sideways, downwards, consolidation. Favors a move higher. I'd target a move up here to like 32.50 or something. At least 13% higher. But I think this has a ways to go to the upside. All right. Dean says, appreciate your expert advice. I have 2 questions in the live day trading room. Do you give a stop and a profit for each price? We give a target generally. We don't give a stop before entering the trade. When we enter the trade, there's not a certain percentage. Like our stop loss might be different for everyone. Can you go over Drew's trade yesterday? Did he average in that caused a bigger loss? Also, your website doesn't show daily trades. Stop working on the 22nd of August. It's working now, Dean. If you refresh that day trading page, we fixed that. It is working. But yeah, that Drew's loss yesterday. Yeah, Drew took a. Oh, my lights just turned off. Let me turn that back on. Sorry about that. My lights just randomly turned off. Yeah, he took an 18K loss, but we've made up for it today almost. We're up 12K today. We closed out $12,000 in winners today. But there's not like a preset loss or stop loss. It depends on each trade, right? How much we're willing to risk. It depends on the chart setup. If there's no reason to stay in the trade, then we'll stop out. There's tons of things. Jose says, hello, Gareth. I forgot to cover Ethereum and Bitcoin this summer. I noticed Ethereum has been going down like you said yesterday. Yep, like I said. You got it, Jose. You got it. Yeah, Ethereum broke this down sloping trend line, up sloping trend line. If it closes below, I want to see one more candle. My target ultimately is down around $3,600 to $3,400 level. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, Bitcoin also breaking this down sloping trend line for me. And look where it bounced right at this level. I liked around the 108 level. 108. Yeah. But I think there's going to be support at 105 and then the $1,100 level. So watch out for those this weekend. Yusef says, what is the name of the band? The name of the band is called Pet Lizard. Pet Lizard. Shout out Pet Lizard if you it's like pop punk. They only have like 2,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. But if you interact with them on socials, tell them Lawton sent you. My friends would like that a lot. Yusuf says EXK. Let's take a look. EXK looks like it just broke out. Okay. Wouldn't want to buy now. What would be a good price to get back in at? Yeah, I think let's look for some resistance on this. And here's what you see. You see it breaking out of this. You see it breaking out here. This is almost this is an inverse head and shoulders pattern. If you can see it. Big one at that. This measured move is going to be gnarly. This measured move would be a move around 60% higher. Now, is EXK going to go up 60% from here? I doubt it. But it could go up significantly because it's currently down over 52% from its all-time highs. But I like this chart setup. No, it's not an inverse head and shoulders. What am I doing? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. It's not valid. What am I doing? It's upsloping. Oh my god, what am I doing? That's such a rookie mistake. Oops. Rookie mistake. Pretend you never saw that, guys, okay? Don't tell anyone. Sorry. It would be if it's downsloping, but it's not because it's upsloping. Oh my god, that's such a bad mistake. Sorry, guys. But you see this 1, 2, third hit. It favors a pullback here. You could enter on a fourth hit, right? I expect it to pull back. I would re-enter. I mean, if you can, down here would be a good level to re-enter. God, I can't believe I made that mistake. Here are a couple levels you could look to re-enter: 15% and 20% lower on EXK. Sorry, guys. Disregard that, please. Dang. Richie says, happy Friday, Lawton. Entry levels for HL Heckler Mining. Absolutely. Also wishing you and your brother an amazing long weekend. Awesome. Thanks. We're going to go golfing on Sunday with Drew at Innisbrook Resort. So it should be pretty dope. I suck at golfing. I play a bunch of other random sports, but I do not golf. Heckler Mining, you're looking for entry on a short or a long. I don't have any long levels. However, if you want to enter a short, this is where you're likely to find resistance. 877. Approximately 3% higher. You have resistance there. And then you have what I believe is double top around 944. So you can always play this as a enter and then add. However, Heckler Mining is down significantly from its all-time highs, around 76% down. So let me give you some other levels of resistance. Pivot high here from 2011. These are my levels to short Heckler Mining. Chad says, hi, Lon. Are you feeling better today? I'm okay. I just have a sore throat still. It's weird. Working from home today, so finally able to watch live. Awesome, Chad. Awesome. Thanks for being here, buddy. Been watching on a replay. Of course, sounds like you had a good time yesterday. Lyft recently broke out of a downsloping parallel that came up recently. Let's take a look. Okay. Yep, I see that. There's like essentially something like this, right? Something kind of like this, depending on how you draw it. But I see downsloping parallel they came up with. Now it's falling back towards it. In your opinion, would a long potential entry, what would a long entry be when it hits the top of the parallel, or would you wait for it to re-enter the parallel? Let me find that exact parallel again. It's heading back down towards it. I think you're talking about this one then. Okay. Like this. Something like this. And you just extend this back out here. Let me just redraw this. That was ugly. Yeah, something like this, right? Bouncing off of it. For me, I would look for, you can enter on a retrace to the downsloping parallel. Absolutely. It actually did already retrace. Yeah, you can enter on a retrace, or you can, like, now it's starting to form. This is kind of like a bull flag, like kind of up move, sideways, downwards consolidation, favors a move to the upside. So this is actually like could be a bull flag. You can wait for a break to the upside as well. There's a couple places that you can enter. For me, I'd probably enter here on this trend line or on the middle of this parallel around 1420. Jose says, hello, I am thinking to buy Target at 96. Okay. It also has a good dividend, good idea. Can you cover Bitcoin Ethereum? Yeah, I already covered Bitcoin Ethereum, Jose, but Target, I'm already long that in the dividend trader service. I think the level is amazing. So I'm already long Target. But if you're looking for an even better entry, you could consider waiting to see if this comes down to here around the $87 level. John says, are you surprised by the sell-off before the holiday weekend? Does it continue to next week? I'm not surprised because Nvidia, right? What did I say I was predicting on Nvidia? A pop and then drop on Nvidia, right? It kind of popped on earnings a little bit, briefly made all-time highs, selling off today. I think that was a little like, if you think about it, Nvidia after earnings, literally after earnings, it fell off of earnings, fell like 3, 4, 5%, and then it made its way all the way back up to flat. Right? That's that euphoria. That's the retail being like, oh, Nvidia had fallen, but it's going back up, so I'm just gonna buy in. Right? I was at a point where I was like, dude, I just give up. Like Nvidia is never gonna fall. Like it's just always grinding up over and over and over again. There's no end in sight. I don't know what to do. But when you're feeling like that, especially me as a pro trader, when I'm feeling like that, then you know the top is close. And look at that. Boom. Of course, it was helped by the news, by news that there's a competitor in China that also has a good stock. But I mean, for me, I could see this coming down to 167, 163, and my target would be 158 on this. But yeah, it depends, right? Holiday weekend. I think people just don't want to hold into the holiday weekend because news could come out about tariff wars or this or that, and they just want to distance themselves a little bit. Dean's Taylor says, "Can you review SBS South by Southwest?" Savannah Stillwater. I think it's a great chart pattern. Let's see. I still can't believe I messed up that head and shoulders pattern. It makes me feel gross. It makes me feel grimy. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing most of the time anyways, but so there's a head and shoulders pattern here. A real head and shoulders pattern here. No fake stuff. This one, if you draw this, pull this one back. It's like this. Valid head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, head, shoulder. That's valid. Let's find the measured move. What do you like about this chart pattern? You want to go long? You want to go short? This has a measured move around 24% down. It has already fulfilled over 50% of it. So in my opinion, I think that the measured move is done. They just have earnings. But if you like palladium, which I have a head and shoulders, so I don't love palladium, right? And platinum, which depending on how you draw it, you can also say it has a head and shoulders pattern, potentially, that hasn't fulfilled yet. Could be bearish on both. Could be bearish on all three, actually. But if you're in at $8, I mean, what I would do is I'd just be careful. I'd probably add down here at $6 if it were to come down. $6, $5.53, and add like every 50 cents afterwards. This is how I would play SVSW. I know you're long already, so I'm not trying to burst your bubble. And of course, my analysis can be wrong, but I'm just showing you what I'm personally seeing on the charts. My football team or soccer is Manchester United. Ooh, didn't you guys lose to Grimsby last night? Or was that 2 days ago? Right? It was Grimsby Town. Grimsby Town. Grimsby Town in the whatever cup. Sorry to bring that up. But if you want to trade me and you for fun, for fun, what's the entry point? Let's see that trend line that you're talking about. Sorry to bring up bad news. Oh, something like this from the low here. It's okay. I've been to a couple of football games. I saw Tottenham play. My stepfather is a big Sunny fan, and my favorite team is Chelsea. But I picked it when I was a kid just because I really liked Didier Drogba, and Christian Pulisic, who's now in AC Milan, who's playing really well, even though he was whatever for Chelsea. If you want to enter it, I would enter it on this upsloping trend line. Upsloping trend line favors a downside move, but you usually get a bounce on the third hit. So if you want to get in just for fun, you can get in there, or on Manu, you can enter right here at this gap fill around 1380. Dean says, I did close my downward restart. I don't think it's working. You can, I don't know how it depends if you have a Mac. If you have a Mac, you press Command Shift and then R. But I'll show you. It's updated 2028. We had this 18K loser, but it's Control Shift and then R. If you press Control Shift and then R on this page, you should be refreshed. But yeah, this doesn't have the wins already, right? We took 12K in wins, we took $12,000 in wins today. So we already made up for this loss, right? This what is this? This is approximately 5K plus this is my win. So we made 6,500 plus our 12K. Yeah, we already made up for the loss. It only took not even a day. Chess says, yep, we did indeed lose to Grimsby, the worst time of my life to be United supporter. Didn't know you followed the sport. Do you have a team? Yeah, I do. I do follow. I like Chelsea again, but anyways. Keith says, hey, Lawton, could you please look at Val? Looks bullish to me. Absolutely. Let's take a look, Keith. Valaris Limited looks bullish. Yeah, you have kind of inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? However you want to draw that. This, and then this just could be a shoulder. I agree. It looks bullish. It's a smaller company, but not selling too small that I wouldn't trade it. But if it breaks up and out, measured move is about 45% move. Now, again, I forgot to do these. I'm so sorry, development team. Let me do a teachable moment. Okay, so when we have measured moves on head and shoulders patterns, and inverse head and shoulders patterns, we're not always looking for the full measured move. For me, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, if it goes above 50% of the way there and then starts to pull back, that's it. The measured move is done. It's already done it. So that's what I think. But yeah, look, I agree. It looks bullish. You can enter on a break or a retrace to this. Thoughts on Equinox? Gold. Yeah, gold is going insane right now, right? Yeah, gold is pushing towards new all-time highs. Absolutely. Looks like it wants to go there. EQX Let's see. It's pushing up. You're gonna find major resistance right here. This pivot high. This was the highest point it's been since 2022. It's a high of 22. Then you have the high of 21. Then you have this pivot high, and then the previous all-time high. So these are the levels of resistance that I have on EQX. Chess says, thanks a lot. Potential teachable moment on CNC. There's a small cup and handle pattern starting on the 23rd of July. The cup element not deep enough. Well, it just hasn't formed the handle yet, right? So you have like this cup or like wherever, right? However you want it. You want to have a handle here. So if this pushes up, this could be super, super bullish for this stock. Mark says, what are your thoughts for Lulu Long? Yeah, everyone loves Lululemon stock. I'm not touching Lululemon right now. And the reason why is they have earnings in 6 days. They're going to earnings that have this upsloping trend line, favors a move lower. However, if you look at the chart, Lululemon has lost favor. The major athleisure company brand has lost 61% of its market cap in basically in the last year and a half, 2 years, right? 61% of its market cap. So I think that it just depends on its earnings. But I don't trade earnings. I don't trade into earnings generally. So next earnings report is in 6 days. And I'm not going to go long or short going into earnings. All right. Mar says, hi there, Mr. Ho. How are you doing? I'm all right, Mar. A nice day in Holland. Greets the Flying Dutchman. Awesome. How's it going, brother? How are you doing, Mar? Brewski says, hey, Lon, can you check your crystal ball and see if silver will reach or surpass $45 to $50? Silver's at all-time high. Let's find some resistance levels, huh? That's what we got to do. Things are all-time high. You draw trend lines. Try and find places it's going to pull back. Ooh, look at this trend line I got. There you go. Any trend line is a good trend line if you try hard enough. All right. 45 to $50. I have resistance at 41 right here on this trend line. So, and I'm actually bearish on gold and silver. So, yeah, I'm bearish. But, that's my max upside, to be honest. Pratik says, hi, Lon. Good to see you again. Nice to see you again. Pratik, thanks for always being here and asking questions. It means a lot to me. What's your thought on Roku and Honeywell? Is it a good time to buy for a swing trade? Roku, no. I'm not buying Roku. Roku is up over 83% from its lows. You want to pull back before you enter long. For me, I'd consider entering long at $82. $82 and $80. These are my levels of support on Roku. All the way down. Take a picture. Take a screenshot. This is where I think Roku could likely get a bounce. As far as Honeywell, is this a good buy? I mean, not this one either. This could argue this is bearish or bullish. You have this down sloping trend line in your favor that if it breaks above, you could see a move at around 5% higher. But I really wouldn't enter this because my max upside for this is like 10% higher, right? And generally we want it as at least 15. However, I do think that, if it comes down here to like $200 level, I would be interested in potentially being a buyer. And again, on 180, basically those Liberation Day lows. Peggy says, Lawton. Peggy. Enjoy your show. How do you determine a stop loss? Because if we set 1 to 2% stop loss, but the market fluctuates daily, can go up and down 45% move in range to stop. If we set the stop at 1, then wouldn't we miss the chance to exit using the daily 4 to 5% range? Thank you. I hope you can understand what I'm asking. Yeah. Okay. Great question. In fact, it's a quintessential question. All right. How do we determine our stop loss? That's a great question. For me, there's a couple of different things, right? Particularly it's a little different for day trading, but for swing trading, for me, I always use a good risk to reward setup. So, for example, if I'm trading Honeywell, right? And let's say I'm shorting it right here. Well, what's my target? I see support down here around 8 or 9% lower and support around here around 12% lower, right? If that's my target, if I'm looking to make 11% on Honeywell, my stop loss should be somewhere less than that 11%, right? It doesn't make sense to risk more than your potential reward in swing trading, right? So let's say I put my stop loss here. My stop loss is 10%, right? So I'm risking 10% to potentially make a 12%. That's a risk to reward ratio of like, I don't know. You're risking 1 to potentially make like 1.2, right? That's not a great risk to reward ratio. A better risk to reward ratio for this that I would personally use is something like this: a break above this pivot, a close above this pivot. So I'm risking 5% to potentially make 12%. That's a like 2.1 or 2.2 like risk to reward ratio. That's how I personally do it, and it depends on every single stock. If a stock is extremely volatile, and I'm instead looking to really get crazy and look for huge moves, right? Then if I'm looking to make 50% on a trade, I'll risk like 20%. But then, of course, I'm going to go a lot smaller. So we'll see. Mars says, hi, you missed the head and shoulders. Yeah, sorry about that. Kathy says, hi, Lawton. What's up, Kathy? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for sharing your expertise with us. Absolutely. I'm seeing a good short swing on Google at 216. Excuse me. Oh, 216. All right. There's a parallel channel going back from the 2020 low. Okay. To end 2021 high. Parallel channel. Something like this. Something essentially like this. I'm struggling to see that parallel channel. But I do have a couple of trend lines, as you can see from my chart. A couple of levels of resistance. Previous all-time high, previous all-time high, previous all-time high through previous all-time highs. And I have these trend lines as levels of resistance. So that first level of resistance for me would be around that 217. My second one would be around 223. So generally within that range, that's where I would personally short Google if I wasn't already short, which I'm not short. Nalanti says, hi, Lon. After a long time, how are you? Thank you so much for being here, Nalanti. Nalanti used to call me on the phone all the time. Hope you're doing well, Nalanti. Could you please check TTD? I hope you're learning. But yeah, on TTD, for me on TTD, I think TTD is just down off of earnings. Kind of sucks, right? You had this kind of down sloping trend line that it had broken up from For me, I expect it to get a bounce around that 52 level. For me personally, my max downside, I don't think that it gets lower than $43, but that's like 21% lower. For me, for an entry long, I would look for an entry around 48.67. If you're already in this trade, that's where I'd also add probably about 10% lower. You're welcome. Chess says, I would like to try out the live day trading room on one of my upcoming holiday days, but just weighing up whether it might be less viable for me in the UK compared to members in the US, as I don't believe we'd have access to all the same trading instruments in the UK that you guys have. Cannot hold certain ETFs that you can. Just wondering if you have any info offhand regarding UK US instruments, or you're aware of UK based trade. I'm not totally sure. We have members in Portugal and the United Kingdom. I don't know what brokerages they use, but I can ask them for you on Tuesday, because I'm not going to be here on Monday, guys. That's just a reminder, because we have Labor Day. So I'm not going to be live, and the markets are closed on Monday. So, but I can ask them on Tuesday for you, Chad. Peggy says, what do you think about Dogecoin for long term? I don't know. This stock, it's a meme token. Doesn't have a lot of utility. It started as a rug pull, but I don't know. Not a lot for me to say. Like long term, I don't believe in it the same way I believe in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Has this upslipping trend line that it's now trying to break below. MD says, can you analyze the chart for IBM? This is bearish. 100% bearish for me. Downsloping move, a clear bear flag. Favors a move lower. I'm looking at like a move down 7 to 11% lower. This is a clear bear flag. Down move, upsloping sideways consolidation. That's bearish, and it doesn't even have earnings until 54 days to save it. Usama says, hello, Lon. A couple questions for you. During his game plan, Gareth also always talks about 10-year and Dixie. What's the significance of these, and what do they tell us about your market? It's just a way to see, check money flow, right, and just get a pulse on the overall economy. I'm not an expert on those things, so I can't give you a full detailed explanation, but it's just to check the health of the economy. Mr. Fisher says, hey, what's up? What do you think about copper, bull, bear? I typed in Cooper. Bearish. Bear flag. Bearish. I'm bearish. Mar says, what would be for you a new long in Nvidia? How long and how high? I would look around 157, maybe 157 to 148. This is where I would personally enter Nvidia long if it came back down here. And I'd look for a move. Yeah, I look for like 15% at least. Taylor says, I'm sorry. I should have said I'm going long playing it. And yes, it did have earnings. Lon, just want no questions. Just want to thank you guys all for a great week. Have a peaceful, fun weekend. You deserve it. See you later, Spark. Thank you so much for your comment. Michael says, hey, Lon, bull or bear flag is broken. How do we calculate the target like you do in a head and shoulders pattern? So in a bull or bearish flag, you can sometimes use the flagpole, so this distance, to kind of determine the measured move. Or you can or how long the flag was. Right? There's a couple different ways, but I don't really use that. Joe says, what do you think about a long entry in SMCI around $40? I would wait a little more, maybe $39. I would wait for $39 and add, every $5 or $6. Pavlina says, happy Friday, Lon. Happy Friday, Pavlina. UPS, good dividends, but where to enter long? I'm already long UPS. but this is bearish kind of action for me. This is bear flags. Yeah, I would look for an entry at that COVID low around $82, but I'm already long. Wes, yeah. You need to see it curl upwards. Right, has to curl upwards and be up. Like basically finish the handle. Because when you're drawing a cup, this is your cup, your handle doesn't stop there. It like comes up, right? Because you got to be able to hold on to it. So it needs to do that. You're welcome, Chad. Javier says, what do you think about this upsloping trend line? Javier, I don't know what chart you're talking about. Pratik says, thank you, man, as always, for your analysis. Of course, thanks for being here. Have a great weekend. You too. John says, I was all in on my favorite royalty miner at 140 and sold at 155. Dang. Yeah. Question, how do I get over a miss like this? Really beating myself over the move. Been shorting the market since I sold, getting crushed. Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? This thing moved up over 150% since you exited. And basically a straight line with no real pullback. And I know it's tough. When you look at trades that you were in and you're like, oh, I could have made this money if I just held on or if I just changed this. It hurts and it stings, but it's better than taking a loss. You couldn't know that you could have made so much more. You ended up with a profit when you could have just as easily taken a loss. So never beat yourself up for not holding on to something irrationally long amount of time, right? It's part of trading. Whenever I exit a trade, there are so many times where I take 10 cents on a trade and then I actually could have gotten 30 cents. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing? What am I doing? But, right, and this is important to remember, and Gareth always says this, home runs don't get you into the Hall of Fame, usually. It's singles and doubles and triples, consistent play, consistent profits. That's how you become profitable. If your win rate's here and you lose, then you hit a home run. Then you lose, compared to slow and steady, wins the race. That's how you got to handle it. But you can be proud of it that you saw it and were long in the first place. Samuel says, what do you think of when monthly oversold RSI? Yeah. Profit will come to 5+ dividend. Yeah, I like this, actually. I do like Wendy's. It's not the biggest company, but I do like this company for potential long. Downsloping trend line here. Wow, I actually do like this a lot for breakout. Oh, there's so many questions, guys. I can't answer all of these. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to cut it off here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I have like 8 more questions. I'm sorry, guys. 9 questions. Yeah, thanks, Brewski. Guys, I gotta close it here. I'm sorry. I'm already over time. I didn't even realize the time. Sorry to my production team. Thanks for sticking around, guys. If you like this content, please consider liking this, sharing this, subscribing to us on YouTube for more exclusive content. Again, guys, my name is Lawton Ho here with Verified Investing. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question, but great news is I'll be back right here on Tuesday, not Monday because Monday is a holiday. Tuesday, right back at it every single day from 12:30 to 1:15. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you have more questions and you really want me to answer them, just send them to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Lawton, followed by the word investing. Just follow me, send me a DM, and I'll answer your question as quickly as I can. All right. If you want me to chart something for you, I'd be happy to. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Verified Investing community. Have a great weekend, guys. Eat some hot dogs for me. Have a great day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.